So if someone wanted to lose weight, what would be the best fat for them to eat? Especially when people go on a weight loss diet and stop all the fat, yeah? Fat-free this, fat-free that, fat-free, fat-free, fat-free. And yet what are they eating? Lots of carbohydrates.
What if weight gain isn't your fault? Barbara O'Neill often says, the body is designed to heal itself when you stop interfering. Barbara O'Neill is an internationally recognized health educator, speaker, and natural remedies expert.
Especially when people go on a weight loss diet and stop all the fat, yeah? Fat-free this, fat-free that, fat-free, fat-free, fat-free. And yet what are they eating? Lots of carbohydrates. Do you know fat gives the feeling of satiation or satisfaction? And the best weight loss diet is a diet that stops your hunger. And fat stops the hunger. So what's happening on this high carbohydrate diet? People have eliminated the fat and they're eating lots and lots and lots of this, not realizing that that excess glucose, once we've filled up the energy cycle, we've filled up the glycogen stores, and so now the body sends it to the fat cells. And on this high carbohydrate diet, what's happening to Americans and Australians? They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, it's one of the most dangerous fats because what the body does is it stores it in the probably areas of the body that's not used a lot, maybe the arms, the belly, the hips, the thighs, and then when that gets all filled up, then it starts to go to the internal organs, weighing them down.
Most people don't realize this, but when someone starts a weight loss diet, the very first thing they often cut out completely is fat. They go for anything that says fat-free on the label. Fat-free milk, fat-free yogurt, fat-free snacks. They feel proud of it. But here's the catch. When fat disappears from the plate, something else takes its place, and that something is usually carbohydrates, bread, rice, cereal, crackers, sugar-free cookies, low-fat snacks. The plate looks healthy, but inside the body, a very different story begins. Fat has a powerful role most people ignore. It creates satiety. In simple terms, fat tells the brain, you're full, you can stop eating now. It slows digestion, keeps blood sugar steady, and quiets hunger hormones. When fat is removed, that signal disappears. So, what happens to the person on a high carbohydrate, low-fat diet? They're hungry again, and again, and again. Imagine someone eating a big bowl of fat-free cereal with skim milk for breakfast. It looks light, clean, and healthy. But an hour later, hunger strikes again. So they grab a granola bar, then a piece of fruit, then crackers. The body keeps asking for food because it never received the "I'm satisfied" signal. Now, let's look inside the body. Every time carbohydrates are eaten, they turn into glucose, which the body uses for energy. First, glucose fills the body's immediate energy needs. Then it fills the glycogen stores in the liver and muscles. Think of these as small fuel tanks. But here's the problem. Those tanks are very limited. Once they're full, the body has no choice. It says, we can't store any more energy here. So it converts the excess glucose into fat and sends it to fat cells. This fat isn't just stored anywhere. The body tends to store it in areas that move the least. The belly, the hips, the thighs, the upper arms. These areas slowly expand, like storage rooms being overfilled day after day. And when those storage rooms are completely packed, the fat doesn't stop coming. It begins to move inside, wrapping around vital organs. The liver gets heavier, the pancreas gets surrounded, the heart carries extra weight. This is called visceral fat, and it's the most dangerous type. This is why, despite eating low-fat, entire populations in places like the US and Australia have grown bigger over time. People didn't stop eating fat, they replaced it with constant carbohydrates, triggering non-stop hunger and silent fat storage. Ironically, the very diet meant to reduce body fat ends up creating more of it, especially in the worst possible places.
And in the book, Wheat Belly, notice the title of the book, Wheat Belly, Dr. William Davis, he shows that sugar particularly Sugar and the hybridized wheat. And the hybridized wheat is found in most breads, cakes, cereals, pastas, pizzas. Because it gets the blood sugar level up so high, so fast, as we looked at this morning, then very quickly it's dumped as a visceral fat on the belly. And in the book Wheat Belly, I think the word wheat belly he uses on just about every page, showing this process. And another fact, another very misunderstood fact, is that glucose burns at 4 calories per gram, whereas fat, it burns at 9 calories per gram. Now this piece of information, which is fact, is in just about every weight loss book as proof that if you want to lose weight, don't eat the fat. It's going to give you more than twice the calories. But what the people don't understand is what a calorie is. A calorie is a unit of energy. And if you want a high energy food, what do you eat? Fat. It's going to give you more than twice the units of energy compared to glucose. But if you're eating more calories than you can burn, yes, it's going to be stored.
In his book Wheat Belly, Dr. William Davis draws attention to something most people eat every single day without a second thought: modern wheat. The title itself, Wheat Belly, is not accidental. It describes a very specific pattern of fat gain that shows up right around the abdomen. Dr. Davis explains that today's wheat is not the same wheat our grandparents ate. It has been hybridized, meaning it has been genetically altered to grow faster and yield more. This hybridized wheat now dominates foods like bread, cakes, cereals, pasta, pizza, cookies, and crackers. These foods may look harmless or even comforting, but inside the body, they behave very differently. When someone eats these wheat-based foods, they don't just digest slowly like traditional whole foods. Instead, they spike blood sugar extremely high and extremely fast, often even faster than table sugar. The bloodstream becomes flooded with glucose in minutes. Now imagine blood sugar like traffic on a highway. At first, the body tries to direct that traffic into energy use and short-term storage, glycogen. But once those lanes are full, the body has to make a quick decision, and that decision is simple: dump the excess glucose into fat storage. Where does it go first? Straight to the belly. This is why Dr. Davis repeatedly uses the term wheat belly throughout his book. Page after page, he shows how repeated wheat-induced blood sugar spikes lead to the rapid creation of visceral fat, the deep, dangerous fat that wraps around organs. This isn't soft surface fat. This is the kind that surrounds the liver, presses on the intestines, and increases the risk of diabetes and heart disease. Now, here's where the confusion deepens. Another widely quoted fact in nutrition is this: glucose burns at 4 calories per gram. Fat burns at 9 calories per gram. This fact appears in almost every weight loss book, and it's often used to scare people away from fat. The message sounds logical. Fat has more than twice the calories, so eating fat must make you fat. But what most people don't understand is what a calorie actually is. A calorie is not fat. A calorie is a unit of energy. So when someone eats fat, they're eating a high-energy fuel. Fat burns slowly, steadily, and efficiently. It keeps the body powered for hours. That's why meals with fat leave people satisfied, calm, and full. Glucose, on the other hand, is like kindling on a fire. It burns fast, spikes energy briefly, and then crashes just as quickly, leaving hunger behind. Think of it like this. Glucose is paper in a fireplace. Fat is a solid log. Paper flares up quickly and disappears. A log burns long and keeps the room warm. The problem isn't that fat has more calories. The problem is eating more energy than the body can use. Any excess energy, whether from fat, sugar, or starch, will be stored. But foods that spike blood sugar rapidly, like hybridized wheat, make overeating almost inevitable because they drive hunger, cravings, and insulin release. So while people fear fat for having too many calories, they unknowingly overconsume glucose again and again, triggering fat storage, especially around the belly. In the end, the irony is striking. People avoid fat because it's calorie dense. But they eat foods that force the body to manufacture fat internally and store it in the most dangerous places. Dr. Davis's message in Wheat Belly is clear. It's not fat that's building the belly. It's what happens when blood sugar rises too high, too fast, too often. Many people are surprised to learn that fat can actually support weight loss rather than prevent it. For decades, fat has been treated like the enemy. But when the body is observed more closely, fat plays a very different role, especially when it comes to controlling hunger. Unlike carbohydrates, which tend to cause rapid spikes and crashes in blood sugar, fat provides a slow, steady source of energy. When someone eats a meal that contains healthy fats, digestion slows down. Energy is released gradually, and the body stays satisfied for much longer. Imagine two breakfasts. One person eats toast with jam and a glass of juice. It's light, sweet, and carb-heavy. Within an hour or two, hunger returns. Energy dips, cravings kick in. The body starts asking for another snack. Another person eats eggs cooked in olive oil with avocado on the side. That meal doesn't rush through the system. It sits, digests slowly, and quietly tells the brain, "We're good for a while." Hunger stays away. Snacking feels unnecessary. This is one of the biggest advantages of fat. It makes eating less feel natural, not forced. When healthy fats are included in meals, people are far less likely to feel deprived. Constant hunger disappears. The urge to graze all day fades. This matters because weight loss isn't just about willpower, it's about creating a situation where overeating becomes unlikely. Foods like avocados, nuts, seeds, ghee, butter, coconut, and olive oil also stimulate the release of satiety hormones. These hormones act like internal messengers that tell the brain, "You're full, you can stop now." Without enough fat, those signals stay weak, and the brain keeps asking for more food. There's another critical factor most people overlook: insulin. Carbohydrates, especially refined ones, cause insulin to rise sharply. Insulin's main job is to store energy. When insulin is high, the body is essentially in storage mode. Fat burning slows down, and excess energy is pushed into fat cells. Fat doesn't behave this way. Dietary fat causes little to no insulin spike. That means the body stays in a state where it can access stored fat for fuel. Instead of constantly storing energy, the body starts using it. Think of insulin like a lock on fat storage. High insulin locks fat inside the fat cells. Lower insulin unlocks the door. By eating fewer refined carbohydrates and more healthy fats, the body finally gets the signal that it's safe to burn its own stored fat. The irony is powerful. People avoid fat to lose weight, yet end up eating foods that make them hungrier, spike insulin, and promote fat storage. Meanwhile, those who include healthy fats often find that their appetite calms down, their energy stays stable, and weight loss becomes easier without feeling like they're constantly fighting hunger. In the end, fat isn't the problem. Uncontrolled hunger is. And fat, when chosen wisely, may be one of the most effective tools for keeping that hunger under control.
Staying in the spare room, and when I wake up in the morning, there's the bookcase at the end of the bed, and I love reading. I'm an avid reader. So my eyes are going through, and there was one book that seemed to just jump out at me, Dr. Atkins' New Revolutionary Diet. Righto, I said, I'll look at it. You know, I couldn't put it down. It's a fascinating book. His research and his story is very interesting. I went out that day and I bought his book. And this is his story, Dr. Atkins. He said he was a GP, late 40s, putting on a bit of excess weight. He knew his science. He knew that carbohydrates stored as fat, so he decided to do an experiment on himself. He decided to stop all carbohydrates. And he theorized that if he stopped all carbohydrates, his body would start to live on his fat stores. So what did he eat? He chose foods that had no carbohydrate. So his diet was high in protein, meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs, that's a lot of protein. Fat, meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs, that's a lot. But something else surprised me that you never hear about. He ate 3 cups of vegetables a day, and 1 cup had to be greens. And so there was the fibre. The weight just fell off him. He theorised right. He wasn't giving carbohydrates to his body, so, well, hardly any, little bit in the vegetables. So his body started to live on his fat stores. The weight started to drop off him. He was never hungry because these are the three foods that give the feeling of satiation, satisfaction. He had lots of energy because your liver can convert protein and fat to glucose if it needs it, and it can break down your fat stores to give you glucose. It's called gluconeogenesis, creating glucose from the fat stores. Has he found the perfect diet? Never hungry, lots of energy, weight's falling off him, so he started to put some of his patients on this. It is estimated that 11 million people were helped by his diet. His book was #1 on the New York Times best-selling book list 4 years running. This guy demands some attention.
The Atkins diet works for weight loss, mainly because it significantly reduces carbohydrates, which directly affects insulin levels in the body. When a person eats fewer carbs, their blood sugar remains more stable. This leads to lower insulin production. Insulin is the hormone that signals the body to store fat, so when insulin stays low, the body is more likely to burn stored fat instead of holding onto it. This metabolic shift is one of the main reasons people often see quick results on the Atkins diet. Another important reason the diet is effective is because it focuses on protein and healthy fats. These nutrients are much more satisfying than carbohydrates. Protein slows digestion and fat sends fullness signals to the brain. Because of this, people feel full for longer periods of time. When hunger is controlled, there is less snacking and less overeating, which naturally reduces calorie intake without the feeling of restriction that causes many diets to fail. Since people are not constantly hungry, it becomes easier to stay consistent with the diet. This consistency is what leads to real and sustainable weight loss rather than short-term results. The Atkins diet also helps the body enter a metabolic state called ketosis. In ketosis, the liver converts fat into ketones, which the body uses for energy. Once this process begins, the body becomes very efficient at burning fat, both from food and from stored body fat. This leads to steady weight loss and more stable energy levels because the body is no longer dependent on sugar for fuel. Unlike many low-carb diets, Atkins still includes non-starchy vegetables. These vegetables provide fiber, vitamins, and minerals that support digestion and overall health. Eating a balanced combination of protein, healthy fats, and vegetables helps protect muscle mass while reducing body fat, which improves overall body composition. Many people who follow the Atkins diet report not only weight loss, but also better energy, fewer cravings, improved focus, and a more satisfied relationship with food. They often feel more balanced without the mood swings and energy crashes that commonly come from eating too many carbohydrates.
But what you can do superior to Atkins. You can do the plant proteins. You can do the plant fats. Dr. Atkins, on his first stage, he got people down to 20 grams of starch, carbohydrates a day. Do you know there's no need to go that low? All you need to do is greatly reduce the carbohydrates, ideally stop the wheat, eat more vegetables, eat more legumes, nuts and seeds, and you can get a similar result. Because of the results that he was getting, and by the way, his cancer patients were going into remission, people with high cholesterol were coming back to normal. Did everyone hear that? And his patients were eating meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. And what are people told to get their cholesterol levels down? They've got to stop there, meat, butter, cream, cheese, eggs. So Atkins threw a spanner in the nutrition world's wheel, and it needed the spanner thrown into that wheel. And the only reason his patients got away with it for so long is the 3 cups of vegetables a day, which have an alkalizing effect. But the beauty of the plant proteins, it's much cleaner burning fuel. It doesn't leave an acid waste like the protein does. And when I was consulting with this man, he said to me, I believe if Dr. Atkins had read the China study, Atkins would have become a vegetarian. What an interesting comment. You can get those results, but you can do it on a plant diet. You see, animal protein, it burns at, so let's look at protein. Animal protein, only 58% is burnt as fuel. So that's a 42% waste. That's the acid waste. And that's what Dr. Colin Campbell found in his book, The China Study. He could switch cancer cells on and off, and we looked at this briefly when we looked at cancer on the first night. Because it's an acid waste, and cancer thrives in an acid environment. We looked at that. Whereas plant protein, it's a lot cleaner burning fuel. It doesn't have that acid waste. So with plant protein, you're getting up to about 80% easy is burnt as fuel. That's a big difference. So your plant protein is a superior protein.
While the Atkins diet showed that reducing carbohydrates can dramatically improve weight loss and metabolic health, it is not the only way to achieve these results, and it may not be the best long-term approach for everyone. In fact, you can achieve similar and often better results by using plant-based proteins and fats rather than relying heavily on animal foods. Dr. Atkins placed his patients on an extremely low carbohydrate plan, sometimes reducing starches and sugars to as little as 20 grams per day. While this level of restriction can be effective, it is not always necessary. What truly matters is significantly lowering refined carbohydrates and sugars while increasing whole plant foods. By eating more vegetables, legumes, nuts, and seeds, the body still experiences stable blood sugar levels and reduced insulin spikes, which promotes fat burning and weight loss without extreme restriction. Interestingly, Dr. Atkins observed remarkable improvements in his patients. Some cancer patients went into remission, and many individuals with high cholesterol saw their levels return to normal. This was surprising because these patients were eating foods commonly blamed for high cholesterol, such as meat, butter, cream, cheese, and eggs. At the same time, the general medical advice has long been to avoid these foods to lower cholesterol. This challenged conventional nutrition thinking and forced the medical community to re-examine long-held assumptions. One important reason his patients tolerated this diet was the inclusion of vegetables. Consuming several cups of vegetables each day helps balance the body by providing minerals that support a more alkaline internal environment. Vegetables also supply fiber and antioxidants that protect overall health. However, plant-based proteins offer a distinct advantage. They are considered a cleaner source of fuel for the body. Animal proteins produce a larger amount of acidic waste when metabolized. Only a portion of animal protein is efficiently used for energy, while a significant amount becomes metabolic waste. This acidic byproduct places extra stress on the body and may create conditions that are less favorable for long-term health. Research discussed in the China study by Dr. Colin Campbell highlighted that animal protein intake could influence the growth of cancer cells, partly because cancer tends to thrive in more acidic environments. In contrast, plant proteins burn more efficiently and produce far less acidic waste. A greater percentage of plant protein is used directly for energy, making it easier on the body and more supportive of long-term metabolic health. For this reason, plant proteins are often considered superior. They support weight loss, improve metabolic function, reduce strain on the body, and create an internal environment that is less favorable for chronic disease. By focusing on vegetables, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole plant fats, people can achieve the fat-burning benefits associated with low-carbohydrate diets while supporting overall health in a more sustainable and balanced way. Barbara O'Neill reminds us, when the cause is removed, the body heals itself. Barbara O'Neill is very clear about one thing: there is no magic pill, no extreme shortcut. But when you remove what harms the body and supply what it needs, the body heals itself. And when healing happens, weight normalizes. If this explanation helped you understand weight loss and nutrition more clearly, take a moment to like this video. It helps this information reach more people who truly need it. Subscribe to the channel for simple science-based guidance on health, nutrition, and long-term wellness. Disclaimer: